Hello, everyone. My name is James Suhan. I'm a graduate support engineer here at E1 Solutions. In this video, I'm going to be going through our query builder in the new Popdock user interface. So I'll go ahead and get on over into Popdock here. Now, here in Popdock, if you've worked with us with BC before, then you're familiar with the query builder, which the query builder is very, very similar to how it was prior to this new user interface, with some minor changes here and there, and we're going to be running through those. So first we'll go over to a BC connector. Let me just move this out of the way. So we'll go over here to my BC connector. We'll start in the sandbox. So as you can see now, the query builder is its own individual section. That's going to be a common theme across the new UI for Popdock, as everything is broken down into its own respective section. So now instead of everything being crammed under lists, we have lists, which is your standard default list that come with your BC connector. Your custom lists, your joins, your merges, all that good stuff is its own section as well. Now we have the query builder as its own thing as well. As you can see here on my query builder list, so I'll go in, we'll just create a test one. Grab our API endpoint, and it will not allow you to create it until you select a group for it to go into. So I'll just throw it in here for now. And as you can see, the query builder user interface, it's very similar to how it was. Got a nice shiny new coat of paint on it. So again, we can go in here, pick our table, go ahead and add that table in, select it. We can give our alias, summary table, all that good stuff. We also have available fields and everything that can go there. So here's all the fields, add them in, take it out as needed. You can focus on these fields, add restrictions on these fields if you select it. Go to the table, select, we can break it down by field type now as well. So if you're looking for specific fields in a field type, it makes it a little easier to find. And of course, we do have a search function in there. So with the table settings, all that's great, all that's right there. So then we also have our fields and our default fields broken down into their own sections as well. Options, if you have any key fields you want to code in, color coding, variables, restrictions, details, actions, all that good stuff that was there prior. So now we have our stuff created, it's all there, it's all good. So now we can head on over to our extension settings, which is now separate from publish. So this is your basic build information that was there prior. Tells you what version is, what the query ID is that's going to be inside of Business Central, major, minor, revision, and build. Which, same as before, every time you publish, build's going to increment by 1. Same process there. Now things that are changed are publish. So here in publish, we have changed up kind of how this process works. So before we had publish, download, repair, select columns. As you notice, repair is missing because the original function that was repair is now our publish function. So when it comes to publishing your query builders, you'll now want to make sure everything is selected when you send it through. Anything not selected will be removed from the extension. Very much an all or nothing type of scenario. So if I were to go and click publish, as you see, it brings up the list of everything that is available between lists and additional widgets as well. So the big key is everything that is checked will be published. If there's changes made to it, it'll publish those changes. And if nothing's there, it'll make sure it stays in the extension. Anything that is unchecked, so if I were to uncheck these couple lists right here, these 3 will be removed from the extension and they will not be available to be viewed through Popdock. So very much like I mentioned, all or nothing. So then we can go ahead, we can click publish, it'll go through and publish. Now the big thing is we have our name, what type it is, our status is now either going to say published or not published, and it'll also tell you the time of when this was last published as well. So if you want to know, okay, how old is this? Do we need to make changes? If there's new fields that need to go in, you can see the last time this was successfully published through. If it fails, it'll bring up error messages that'll be able to view, tell you what's wrong, tell you where it's going wrong. So with that, as we're publishing, all of these values will update as time goes on. And again, that's pretty much the extent of it. Once this finishes up here, I'll be able to go over and show you how things look in the production side of things. Because this is just our sandbox. As with the Career Builder, it's a one-to-one system, one sandbox to one production. You can't be publishing from 5 different sandboxes into one production environment. The extensions will butt heads. It'll just be a whole big mess. So as that's going, it should go through. So let's just go back over. Yep, our extension was published successfully. All of these updated right here to today's current date. Anything that was not sent through is now blank. And these could just be, more times than not, this is just a list that has nothing in it. So QB test list, if we go over to that one right here, as we can see, it's an empty query builder list. If there's nothing in it, it's not going to publish. There's nothing for it to do. It just gets skipped over. So now we will go back over into our production. Again, very similar. Now we just have the publish function because you cannot publish directly from a production to a production. Has to go sandbox to production. So again, same buttons, publish and validate. Pick your BC connector. Go ahead, validate the connection, make sure everything's working. And then once that's done, everything's validates. If something went wrong, it'll tell you. Could be just an outdated connector, some other type of error, can't find the extension, whatever the case may be. Once you have that going, it'll tell you it's all good, and then you're able to publish. Again, we also have in-app help here in the corner that is able to be utilized for this process as well.